If you don't make yourself readily available 24/7 all the time while you're working for any company in the United States, they 100% will think that you are anchoring them down. So it wouldn't be controversial to say that America has a ton of problems. I mean, our politics are absolutely diabolical right now. Our government's not really taking care of their people. And our country is trying to essentially...
After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that?
Kidnap another country. There's a lot going on. But this particular video will be a little bit more lighthearted and highlight something that is a very pressing issue throughout the United States that even I as an American can't even really see as a problem until other people point it out. So basically the situation is you have a Dutch worker that works for an American employer and faced tremendous backlash from said employer to the point where the employer was trying to give this Dutch worker disciplinary paperwork for, get this, leaving work on time. Now, before you guys react and stuff, you guys are probably typing away in the comments section, but it's very common for a lot of US jobs to reach out to you after your work hours or make you work over the clock. If you're working a full-time job, then full-time in the United States means you're working even when you're not working. If they have questions about a job that you did or help they need at work, when you clock out of work, they will still reach out to you. That door is always open. And if you don't respond, they're going to look at you as a liability. And then all of a sudden you're out of a job. Someone else has your position and they're being grossly overworked for what they're getting in pay. So the internet absolutely clapped back, but we're going to go ahead and read this individual's post because the Dutch worker actually took to the internet and posted their situation, and we're going to be checking this out. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. If you guys are returning viewers, welcome back. Before we get started, please support the channel by liking this video and subscribing if you haven't already. Before we get started as well, let me know in the comments down below what your reaction would be if you worked for an American employer. They're paying somewhat decent, but they basically think that you owe them all of your time. So as you can see right here, it says my American manager tried to write me up for a lack of commitment because I leave at 5 p.m. sharp. I work in the Netherlands. This is even more diabolical because I thought this individual was working in the United States, but I guess they're in the Netherlands working for a US company, and the US company is imposing their defaultisms on this Dutch worker. So it gets more interesting. As you can see, there's a lot to this. So the next part of this says, I work for a Dutch branch of a large US tech company. We recently got a new middle manager based in New York. He seemed like a nice guy at first, but it turns out he's totally obsessed with hustle culture. Last week, he had a one-on-one meeting where he told me he was concerned about my dedication to the team. He listed his grievances quite clearly. He didn't like that my Slack status goes offline at 5:01 p.m. every single day. He was annoyed that I didn't reply to an email he sent on Saturday morning until Monday at 9 a.m. And he was especially frustrated that I refused to join a team bonding Zoom call that was scheduled for 7 p.m. my time, which is 1 p.m. his time. He gave me the usual speech about how in this company we go the extra mile and that if I want to grow, I need to be more available. I had to give him a bit of a reality check. I looked him in the eye over Zoom and told him that in the Netherlands, if you can't finish your work by 5 p.m., it doesn't mean you are dedicated. It means you are inefficient or understaffed. I told him I am neither. And this is a common sentiment even I have experienced my entire life. If you don't make yourself readily available 24/7 all the time while you're working for any company in the United States, they 100% will think that you are anchoring them down, you are absolutely useless, and you're shilling money from them, right? Potential money they could be swimming in and milking every single cent of. The whole purpose of most US companies is to milk you until you're dry, spit you out, replace you with a new body, and do the same. Wash, rinse, repeat, essentially. And there's literally little to no respect for the employee. And it's sickening. So of course, in a situation like this, where, you know, in most European countries, people are taken care of as far as what they're allowed to do in their free time and the work-life balance structure, this individual was perplexed. They're like, hey, look, me not meeting a quota at 5 p.m. doesn't mean I'm not dedicated. It just means that either the person's inefficient or maybe you're understaffed. If there's a goal you're trying to get to, maybe you should hire more people. But again, in the United States, capitalism is a thriving concept, and we thrive on the idea of doing more with less. If we don't have to shill out a bunch of money to pay a crap ton of employees, we won't. We'll just overwork the 3 employees that we have. And this person wasn't going. They're like, look, when I'm off the clock, I'm off the clock. I did my job from the time I clocked in to the time I clocked out. If you reach me outside of those hours, you're cooked. I'm not going to answer. My stuff is on do not disturb, as it should be. And it's funny, I've talked to some coworkers of mine. And I'm like, yeah, honestly, when you're off work, you should just be off work. That's that. You know, you turn off all your notifications, enjoy your life, whatever. But that's where the culture shock differences vary between the United States and literally all of Europe. I know people are like, hey, Europe is a continent, not a country. Very aware. But if you notice, in all of Europe, that's the sentiment. They're not going to call you outside of your work hours. I don't know any country in Europe, you guys can let me know in the comments down below, that will contact you outside of your work hours if you're employed by them, right? Insane. So I asked you this question before we read this statement, and I'll ask it again. What would your response be if you guys were working for an American employer, they're paying a good amount of money, but they keep trying to reach out to you outside of your working hours? There also is another piece to this story that he decided to delineate as well. And before we get into the comments, we'll read that. I also reminded him that contacting me outside of working hours for non-emergencies is actually frowned upon here, and that my contract is for 40 hours, not 40 hours plus nights and weekends. He tried to threaten me with a performance improvement plan. I immediately forwarded the email to our local Dutch HR representative. She literally laughed when she read it and told me to ignore him. She said she would have a chat with him about local labor laws. Since then, he hasn't sent a single email after 5 p.m. I honestly feel bad for you guys in the US. The fact that you have to apologize for having a life outside of work is insane. I'm very glad this individual got his situation resolved, because literally in the United States, if this situation tried to play out, like I mentioned, that employee would have gotten fired. It's almost implied that you're supposed to work over 40 hours without pay outside of the time you're at work. So let me give you an example. Let's just talk retail. Let's say you're working a full-time job in retail, you're stocking shelves, doing XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And it's your time to clock out. You clock out. You go home, you're kicking your feet up, you're watching TV. All of a sudden your phone rings. Your boss is calling you. Hey, where did you put that pallet jack that was in the warehouse? I'm off the clock. Can we talk about this tomorrow? No, I need to know where it is now. That doesn't make any sense. You're off the clock. You're off the clock. You clocked out. Ask somebody else. There should have been turnover between you guys. Because again, what it is being inefficient. If you can't accomplish whatever task it is you need to accomplish as a manager by the end of a shift, then maybe you should hire more people so you can get more done. If company wants employees to go extra mile, company should pay employees the extra mile. And see, that's also what I've been saying for such a long time. If you want me to go the extra mile, pay me more. Pay me more. But the problem is they masquerade the extra mile as, oh, you're not dedicated to the team. Oh, you're not a team player. Oh, you're a detriment to the work culture and stuff like that. You don't want this company to succeed. You're not a part of the family. They do these things. It's like a manipulation tactic, or an attempt at a manipulation tactic, to convince you that you need to step outside and go above and beyond without getting paid extra, mind you, to support the company. And the company in turn will not support you. You might get a pat on the back, you might get a gold star, but that's it. You don't get a pay boost. There might be the possibility of getting employee of the month. That doesn't really do much. So yeah, very messed up. It's sad that such obvious things have to be explained repeatedly. What killed me is that the employer, like the new boss, was not aware of different labor laws in other countries. Like that should be the first thing. Like if you get any kind of pushback, right? Because I can understand the defaultism, right? They're like, okay, like, you know, American company, why aren't you doing what I'm telling you to do? Well, you hired a foreign employee that works in another country and they have labor laws, so you have to abide by them. You should do some research before you start imposing your defaultisms on people. Just saying. That might sound unreasonable, but I don't think it does. If you can't finish your work by 5 p.m., it doesn't mean you are dedicated. It means you are inefficient or understaffed. Should be made into a corporate motivational poster. Absolutely. But the problem is, the older I get, I keep realizing none of this is going to change, because this motto has literally worked for the United States for such a long time, and nothing's being done to change it, because companies are still thriving. They're making a bunch of money. It's not like they're losing money, right? They're just working people to death, and the government in tandem is contributing to inflation, which is causing people to scramble to look for higher paying jobs. But those higher paying jobs have stipulations like this, like, oh yeah, we'll hire you. Yeah, can you work 40 hours a week? Cool. But you also need to be available whenever and wherever we tell you to be outside of those 40 hours. No, you won't be getting paid extra, but be lucky you have a job. A lot of people don't these days. That's incredibly insane. If everything is urgent, nothing is that urgent. It's like that quote from the movie The Incredibles, if everybody's super, no one can be. It's the same thing. If every little thing is urgent and you're being contacted all the time outside of work, then it can't really be that urgent, and it seems like a process problem. And I would bring that up immediately to leadership. I'll be like, listen, something's going on. If you guys can't get it together, maybe you should consider restructuring your workforce, bringing on more people. You should onboard more people so you can get more done. That just seems like common sense, but it's not that common, and actually it hurts their pockets, or that's at least how they perceive that, so that won't happen. Again, we can kumbaya about this all day, but I really do not think anything's going to change, especially now. I mean, have you seen what the climate of the United States looks like currently? Oh my God, you really think something's going to change? Yep, I just got out of the USA hustle culture 10 years ago. My bank account is not as fat as it used to be. However, my skin is clearer, my sanity has returned, my stress level is low, and I get to spend time with my daughter, and my peace is still intact. You can keep all that shit. It's crazy. I keep talking about how old I've gotten recently. I'm 30. I'm about to turn 31 in a few months. And I think part of growing up and maturing is realizing what you really want for yourself and what matters versus what really doesn't matter like that. I myself, as ironic as it sounds, I'm like bashing the hustle culture, whatever. I hustle a lot. I do. I love working. That is just my personal preference. I love doing things all the time. I like being occupied. It's just what I love to do. I don't think everybody should be forced to do that though. I feel like the system should be innately created to allow people to relax and enjoy their free time. I just love to hustle because I'm a busybody. I love doing a bunch of different things. If you see me in real life, I'm always doing something. I'm never sitting on my ass doing absolutely nothing, because that's, for me, not how I would prefer to enjoy life. And I know for a lot of people that sounds stressful, but that's my own personal preference. For other people, I can understand how taking a step back and relaxing is a lot better, right? One of the cool things that I realized when I traveled to Europe was there was not this insatiable need to make a crazy amount of money or constantly be doing 1,000,003 things, but there was a strong desire to relax, to get a lot of rest in, to spend time with friends and family, to genuinely enjoy their surroundings and take everything in. So it made time a precious thing. And I think that that is something I still struggle to merge with, because I love being busy. Part of it is so I can have a substantial amount of support to live and whatnot. And in case there is ever a point in my life where I am unemployed, I have saved up and squirreled away enough funds to be good for a while. But I think that part of enjoying life and making the most of the time you have on this planet is making sure that you enjoy your personal life, get a lot of rest, because a lot of health issues come from not getting a lot of rest. Yeah, it's something that I definitely noticed was a huge deal in the United States, and I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed it as well. But as I've gotten older, I've noticed it to be more and more of a problem. It probably always has been a problem, but I'm becoming more aware of it. It's so funny because I say all the time, ignorance is bliss. I mean, I feel like I was a lot more happy-go-lucky before I learned about all of these things. And the more I learn, I'm like, oh my God, the dread that comes with this newfound information, right? Or these newfound realizations, because the information's always been there, but learning about it, I'm like, oh. But what do you guys think about this whole ordeal? How do you think the response was? How did you feel about the company backing up the Dutch worker? I think that all of these things worked in favor of the Dutch worker, and I'm absolutely glad that it worked out the way it did, because, oh my gosh, I think the mentality, and you could tell, was that the employer wanted to fire this man. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that got resolved. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. And again, do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. We are aggressively chasing 1 million subscribers.